The origin of life is the most controversial topic between the church and science. Where did we come from? We know what religion teaches. Cave drawings, hard to understand. Shows us a planet we don't know. Some claim we came from apes. I was created by God. Created, not evolved. There are three hypotheses that attempt to explain the origin of life on Earth. One of the oldest and the one in which I believe makes the most logical sense is that a supreme being, God, created the universe. The exact process of the creation of Earth and the reasons life was created will differ between religions and cultures and from generation to generation. Another hypothesis is that life on Earth began from the result of a comet or meteor crashing into the universe. The last hypothesis, which is the one that the science community strongly believes in, is that life began from the result of a complex sequence of chemical reactions that took place spontaneously in the Earth's atmosphere. All these hypotheses share the common fact that they cannot be proven nor disproven. The most logical explanation for the fact that the universe appears designed is that it was created by a supernatural being. I agree with this statement, not only because it's the basis for my religion, but because I believe that science has only given us what we call hypotheses about the beginning of our universe. Science has not proven that what they hypothesize is in fact true. Although I cannot prove my position either, I believe that from the stance from which I come from seems more reliable. Given the psychology classes that I've taken here at the University of Arizona, which introduced me to the idea of cause and effect. To defend this position, I'd like to point out that the most of us can agree that we come into existence from our parents and our parents from their parents, etc., etc. But logically, it would make sense that there has to be a starting point to the cycle. So the question is, who or what is the starting point? God, who we will call a supernatural being and is an internal being that exists outside time or within many dimensions of time, is the beginning. It is possible that the universe is eternal. However, scientists have hypothesized about the beginning of the universe, implying it was created, giving someone or something the power to create it. The only explanation from the perspective of my belief system is that the ultimate creator, God, who is eternal, created a non-eternal universe where cause and effect exist. Since we exist in a universe based on cause and effect, we have to live in some dimension of time. Without the dimension of time, there would be no cause and effect, and therefore there would be no need for anything that exists today. But because God had no need to be created, He created our universe, where time and cause and effect exist. And since God created cause and effect and time, we are able to conclude that neither of these concepts applies to the existence of God Himself. Others might argue that life evolved naturally. However, I completely disagree that life evolved naturally. I just don't understand how anyone can believe that they evolved from a monkey. To start my argument, I would like to discuss Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, which to me seems impossible. His theory is based on natural selection, which pretty much means a member of a species is a little stronger, a little taller, a little faster. Basically, anything that makes the species better off. These traits naturally allow that species more mating advantages, which eventually leads to a new species being established. Here at the university, in statistics, we learn a very basic concept, that correlation does not imply causation. Darwin's theory is flawed because of this misunderstanding, and because I feel that he doesn't quite understand the basic concept of natural selection. As described by Ed Singer's natural selection, he describes it as it is a function to preserve the status quo. Thus, new structures and organisms must arise through chance. In other words, natural selection does not drive evolution. The second hypothesis is that the combination of comets and meteors were essential to life on Earth. According to a professor, when comets slammed into the Earth through the atmosphere about 4 billion years ago, they delivered a payload of organic materials to the young Earth, adding materials that combined with Earth's own large reservoirs of organics and led to the emergence of life. It is believed that the composition of the chemicals delivered by the comets allowed life on Earth. One of the major contributions of comets on Earth is the nutrients it provides for life on Earth. Specifically the noble gases argon, krypton, and xenon. These chemicals have been able to sustain life on Earth since the beginning of time. It has also been hypothesized that comets gave Earth the perfect ratio that we observe on Earth today. This happened because comets gave Earth the perfect combination of gases to enable life.
Stars, like our own sun, form from gas clouds that have about every kind of element there is, as well as some pretty complicated molecules. Stuff left over after the sun forms usually turns into a system of planets. Some of these planets have a solid surface, perhaps liquid seas, and a gaseous atmosphere. A rich environment for atoms and molecules to come together in a complex chemical reaction. Carbon atoms in particular link together to form complex organic molecules and amino acids. Chemical catalysts speed reactions along. The products of one chemical reaction become the raw material for new reactions.
The last hypothesis is one where some believe that life was created from a series of chemical reactions. Charles McCombs, who is a PhD in organic chemicals and who obtains 20 chemical patents, is trained to understand the principles of chemistry. Chemicals reacting with chemicals is a chemical reaction, and chemical reactions do not produce life. Life must create life. In other words, life did not start from a series of chemical reactions. In fact, according to Dr. Combs, there has never been a single example of a chemical reaction creating life. Yes, our bodies are made of DNA, which is a combination of chemical molecules. However, dead bodies also contain DNA. I will agree that chemicals are necessary for life to exist, but they do not create life by their presence. They only maintain the life that is already present. This article also raises a very valid point, which is that scientists can only look at the present and guess or hypothesize about our past. To make this picture clearer, look at the image that I have here and just examine it for a few moments. Can you tell me the brand of camera that was used to take this picture? Were you able to do it? Evolutionists have the same problem when they claim that life comes from chemicals. They look at the end result and propose a theory without ever observing the process. Scientists are only able to study and observe the present and make theories of how the present came from the past. However, when these scientists claim that life began from chemical reactions, they're overlooking the fact that chemical processes do not naturally behave in this manner. If they accepted chemical reactions as they occur, they would not believe that life came solely from chemicals. The origin of life is a subject that has been extremely controversial in all countries, religions, and ethnicities. Some of the most common beliefs are that we came from a supreme being, God, we evolved naturally, that we are a result of a series of chemical reactions, and that life was the product of a comet or meteor crashing into Earth. Today, we define ourselves based on our beliefs, or lack of beliefs. However, the one thing that can bring us together is that we are all humans and we can agree that we were created by someone or something.